Okay, perfect. All right, everybody. We'll let everybody trickle in a little bit longer, but if you can see and hear us, you can go ahead and type it in the chat just so we know that you're out there. We're excited for today's session. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we've got quite a few responses already. Oh, nice. Cool, cool. All right, everybody, you can drop in the chat where you're joining us from. What part of the world are you coming in and watching this from? Baltimore, Philippines, Oregon. I'm in Oregon. Woo!
You're stealing my questions.
Awesome, you guys.
I'm
Well,
kidding.
yeah, well, as all of you guys should know, this is Jennifer McCarthy with Teacup Tiny Homes, and Teacup has done some amazing tiny homes over the past multiple years. When did you guys actually get established?
2016 we
Ah,
established.
been a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yes.
we've been longtime friends for a long while now, and done a few different collaborations and whatnot with Jen. And she's always up to something fun, and she's got a lot of energy. So we love getting to work with her 'cause it's always fun. There's always laughing involved and all that good stuff. But we'll hold off for just another minute or two to let just a few more people trickle in here, and then we can dive into it and get things rolling. Well, Michelle Zipsy. I thought when that first popped on, my sister's last name is really similar to that, and so I was like, "Is my sister on here?" but, and her first name is Michelle, but that might be Michael. It depends on, I guess, where you're from. But
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome, you guys.
yeah, very fun. All right, yeah, we'll just hold off for another moment, you guys, and it's actually two L's, but I was talking and looking at my screen and my eye caught it, so I was like, should jump on? But yeah, where do you live, Michelle? San Francisco. Are you living in a tiny home right now, or looking to live in a tiny home because it's crazy expensive down there? Hi, Desiree. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce your name. Been chatting with you on the community. Very excited to see your school project come to life. It's awesome. Christina, you're right. All right. Well, Jen, what do you say we kind of get rolling and make this happen? You ready?
I love it. I am so ready.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, everybody, I'm Zach. I'm one of the founders of tinyhouse.com, and we're intentionally a platform to bring together experts and people who can educate you. And we're trying to bring a very unbiased set of information and education to people because this type of information is just really needed out there. And we're super excited to bring on today Jennifer McCarthy with Teacup Tiny Homes. She has been so much fun to work with over the past few years. We've done multiple collaborations with her, and she's yeah, just always brings a really fun and lively energy, whatever she does. And she also has built some really incredible, crazy, cool tiny homes. And so she knows how to, I guess, speak very well on the topic that she's going to be talking about today, these top 10 things. So, yeah, I guess with that, I'll let Jennifer take it over and I'll jump off from the screen from here and then I'll jump back on at the very end. But Jennifer, we're super excited to have you on today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope
Yeah,
you guys are ready.
absolutely. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Zach. Okay, so hello everyone. I love the comments. Keep them absolutely coming. Yes, I am Jen McCarthy. I am the owner and founder and creator of Teacup Tiny Homes. This is the old logo. You guys will have to check out the new one. And I have a ton of information for you today about the 10 most requested or most popular things that people ask for in tiny homes that we build for them. Now, I want this to hopefully be quite interactive because thank you. I want this to be very interactive because I will be able to kind of tweak our conversations and answer your questions as we go a little bit. But I want to make sure that I'm really talking about the things that you want to hear about. So I have a list that really pertains to our clients. But as I was doing up this presentation for you, I was thinking like, oh, what about some of the things that we just kind of do as standard that builders don't necessarily do across the board? So if there's anything at any point in time that pops up, ask. If I don't answer it and your comment disappears off the screen, then ask it again, okay? Thumbs up, emojis, I love it. Usually I say, give me a whoop whoop or something. It's hard to do when you're just chatting, but I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to get you guys into the actual presentation. I actually have a presentation this time. Okay, here we go. Hang on a sec. I'm not going to share it yet because the presentation is at the end and I need to go to the start for you. Because I don't want to like give away any surprises, right? Here we go. Okay. Now heading back here. Awesome. We have a whoop whoop. You guys are just too kind, too kind. I love that you're here. I love that you guys know Teacup, and hopefully this will give you a little bit of more insight into learning what things are all about. Okay. So I don't think that when I'm in presentation mode, I'm pretty sure I cannot see your questions. Okay, I cannot see your questions. So as we're going through, I may pause and pop back out so that I can see your questions. And then there will definitely be some time at the end. So maybe just write them down and then we'll do Q&A at the end because I can't see them right now. Okay, so welcome to the 10 most popular tiny home features from Teacup Tiny Homes. And as Zach already did, I got to see, which worked out perfectly, I got to see where you guys are from, if you're mostly in Canada or more in the United States. And that really has a lot to do with when we're having different conversations with potential clients, what we talk about. So obviously here near the Rocky Mountains of Southern Alberta, Canada, where we build, it's a lot colder, the climate's very different. And so that's going to be a lot different of a build process than if you're in Phoenix, for example, or in a very hotter, drier climate also. So those are the types of conversations. That's why I always like to know who I'm talking to. But from here, oh wait, maybe I can see the chat. I can. Yes, perfect. There we go. Yes, we are a Canadian company. I figured it out, you guys. This is so, so great. Okay. So will there be a recording available? I believe there will be, Sue. So it's nice to know where you guys are from. And just in case you don't know me, my background, why tiny homes? That's what people always ask me. So I have an interior design background. I went to interior design school when I moved 45 minutes away from the small town that I grew up in to the big city, and went to college in 2002. And while I started my first year in college, I actually started working for a local home builder doing drafting and design and architectural design and interior design as a practicum. Basically, from there, I moved to working with a smaller, more custom home builder here in Lethbridge. And then from there, I went in 2005 to work at the largest home builder in Lethbridge, which is Avonlea Homes. And I started as the interior designer in 2005. From there, I was there for 13 crazy years where I learned a ton about customer service, interior design, and actually new home construction, all very important things. And I stayed there basically until 2017, after I had already established and incorporated Teacup. I see that says tea up, not teacup at the bottom, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So the biggest thing here about me, if you're wondering who I am, is I had this urge before I incorporated Teacup where I had a young child at home with me. HGTV was on all the time, as I always say, you know, like that show Tiny Luxury that we probably all watched, nudge, nudge. Well, that was on in the background, and slowly but surely the people around me started saying, Jen, have you seen that tiny home show on HGTV? Because you would be so good at that. And I was like, yeah, I love that show. I watch it all the time. Tiny Luxury. That's right. And then Someone else in that exact same week said, you'd be so good at building those tiny homes. And then there was 3 people in a matter of 5 days. And I thought, man, maybe this is something that I actually have to like give a go. So here I thought that I would just build a tiny home. It would be easy. It would be easy, they say, right? Because it's small, it should be easy. They all say that. They all say that building a tiny home should be easy, but it's actually not. And we learned that when we built our first one starting in 2016. We launched in 2017 at our local home and garden show. Now, 3 days before we moved the tiny home in, and we were ready to launch, and I found out I was pregnant with our second little bundle of joy. So here I spent the first year of business pregnant, slightly emotional, and the second year in business literally with a newborn and a 2.5-year-old. So it has been a crazy, crazy, wild ride. During that time, I have really zoned in. I mean, it's been 7 years, right? You guys, 7 years in like 2 weeks. It's been 7 years. And my only goal, what I find that just really resonates in my heart now, is I just want to help other people make their lives more simple, because this busy culture and this hustle culture and kind of the society that we've put ourselves in, where we just have to work to be able to pay the bills, to keep going, to do the things, to do the stuff. And good Lord, if we need to take a break one day, it's exhausting. And so I've kind of made it my life mission to help share the experiences and all the things that I've learned in my life with everyone. And Teacup Tiny Homes is really a part of that. So I just want to make a little plug right here at the bottom. That is my personal Instagram handle, The Real Jenny McCarthy. And if you want to follow there, I really focus on wellness and simplicity. And Teacup has really been able to help me figure a lot of those things out. So give me a follow there if you want. Otherwise, we're going to move on to what we're going to talk about today. So today we are going to talk about the importance of good design and function in a tiny home, especially in a tiny home. Then we're going to review the 10 most popular requests in tiny homes and how they have actually panned out for our clients. You might be a little bit surprised. We're going to do a Q&A session, and then I have a little itty bitty bit of a surprise for you at the very end after our Q&A. Sound good? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I see all those thumbs up in the comments. I'm just kidding. I don't see any yet, but if you have some, I'm sure there's just a time delay. There, 2 participants raised their hands. Okay, very good. So if you guys are raising your hands, I can't see. Can I see? I don't know. I'm not sure how to do that, so I'm sorry. We're going to keep going. And then we'll get to you at the end. All right. So first off, here we go. Why is good design so extremely important in tiny living? Well, what do you guys think? Why is it important? It's kind of in alignment with why it's kind of in alignment with why we thought maybe it would be easier to build a small home. You know, it's smaller, it should be easier, but really it just becomes that much more complex. So here is the definition of interior design. What is interior design? Now, this is taken right from the International Interior Design Association website. It is the art, science, and business planning of a creative, technical, sustainable, and functional interior solution that corresponds to the architecture of a space while incorporating process and strategy, a mandate for well-being, safety, and health, with informed decisions about style and aesthetics. So let's just break that down into, layman's terms here. Basically, we are solving the problem with really great design and function. We're making function work with beauty, function and aesthetics. And that's really what interior design breaks down to. So it solves the problem within the confines of the space. So in a lot of tiny homes, especially if you're talking with a tiny home on wheels, it's 8.5 feet wide by 13.5 feet tall from the ground to the roof, right? So we have to work with really great design within these confines. The design should speak to the lifestyle or culture of those using it. And this is why at Teacup, we have a process where we have some really great design plans, but we customize them for all of our clients. Sometimes when we're talking to people, they say, well, what's standard? what does a standard Ruby plan look like? Do you have pictures? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have pictures because we've literally never built a standard Ruby plan because we're always making sure that it includes some of these 10 things we're going to talk about today so that it makes the people who are living there, their lives so much easier. Okay. So this also considers proper use of materials for longevity, safety, and beauty. I think sometimes I err on the side of being too passionate about the materials working for a really long time. I don't like putting things in homes for clients if I know that they're not going to work long term for them. For example, we have a client right now we're building for, and she has Sears disease, if you've heard that. So she was in Mexico and there was a lot of mold in her apartment that she was living in. And she found us and came to us in knowing that she is affected by this. We made certain suggestions for her home to make sure that there wasn't going to be that she wasn't going to be using materials where there would be any kind of mildew buildup or any opportunity for anything that would impact her, right? So function and aesthetics must work together, like I said, and the client, here it is, you guys. You guys don't need to know about all of this stuff and how the things work. You don't need to know that, like, what materials to choose. That's our job. And that's why we take you through a very thorough process up front when you start to work with Teacup Tiny Homes to make sure that you're actually getting the things that are going to work best for you. So you don't need to be an expert on these things because we are, and this is what we help you with. All right, moving on. Are you guys so ready? Oh, I should have done a surprise slide here where you couldn't actually see what it was. Okay, the 10 most popular features or most talked about things in Teacup Tiny Homes. So if you have anything that isn't on this list, add it. If there's anything that you think about or wonder about, then definitely add it here. So stairs, this is one of the most talked about things. And in our tiny homes, the first thing that gets asked when people see these pictures is, Jen, where is the railing? I'm like, I know, but when it comes down to it, a lot of the time we leave that up to our client's discretion because we don't have to have them in this code that we build to. And a lot of the time clients want to put their money in other places instead of putting in a railing. But you talked about safety. I know if you're going up and down the stairs, we do put handrails oftentimes on the wall, and we can put railings on the outside. So again, this is something that our clients get to choose. You can see a railing right here. So everything you see in these pictures, they were actually individually chosen by our clients. So this is a Ruby or Bernice plan where you have the stairs at the back and this goes up to the loft. The reason why there's this landing right here is because our clients wanted more space to be able to stand up before they climbed into your bed. So that's a genius little way of creating that little extra space, especially if our clients are a little bit taller, right? Here's a storage stair down here that goes up from the kitchen area. And this storage stair is full of storage. This is where your pantry is. This is where there's a whole bunch of adjustable shelves. And then here you can see too, this is actually an Airbnb about 45 minutes away from Lethbridge. It has the stairs at the back. And then this is just an example of the ladder, of one of the ladders that we use, because sometimes there's really just not a lot of space for stairs because stairs take up so much space. So we go through and we talk to our clients. Do you want stairs? Do you not want stairs? What is this going to look like for you? What is the best design? So we have a question about wheelchair accessibility and aging in place. I love this. This was a huge topic at the Tiny Home Show that we were recently at. And I'm going to come to that in a little bit when we start talking about main floor bedrooms, because there are quite a few different options for accessibility there, and that is on the list. So stairs is the number one thing, and we go through and make sure that if we need stairs, why do we need stairs? Where can we put them? Is the rest of the space going to work with the stairs? And the majority of our plans do have space for stairs. Oh, look at that. It's the next slide. Here you go. It's like you're reading my mind. Main floor bedrooms. I believe we have something like 4 or 5 different tiny home on wheels, tiny home RVs that have main floor bedrooms. So this is a summer's night dream plan down here. This is our Ellie plan. This one here is the Florence plan. What I love about Florence is this is a single bedroom, main floor bedroom, and there's actually space to go around the bed. You wouldn't have space for a wheelchair to go around this bed. You'd have to have much larger circulation areas. But sometimes when there's the conversation of stairs, if our clients don't want a ladder and our clients don't want stairs, then we will often say, well, let's just do main floor living. Let's do a main floor bedroom and then make that accessible for you so you don't need either. And that's usually the way we decide to go. This is one of the most asked questions. And I find whenever on social media that we post a main floor bedroom, we get hundreds of comments of people saying, is that a main floor bedroom? Yes, it is totally, absolutely doable. Tiny homes don't just need to have lofts. All right, here we go. The full-size bathtub. Was that on anybody's list there? Who wants a full-size bathtub? Give me a thumbs up, or Y for a yes and an N for a no. So bathtubs, this is a big, yes, exactly. This is a big thing in a tiny home. And the conversations we have around bathtubs is if you're opting for a bathtub, you will very likely be losing space somewhere else. So if you have a bathtub, obviously, instead of a shower, you need to be able to get in and out of it. It's going to take up some extra room in the floor plan. So we just go through those pros and cons to make sure that we're not losing something that could be very valuable to you, or we're going to make a different space work a little bit differently to accommodate that bathtub. All about the bathtubs. I know. We have had some clients who it's like, that's it. We need a bathtub. Actually, to be honest, I think we've only had one client in the last 8 months who has gone with a stand-up shower. Isn't that interesting? So there we go. Bathtubs are a big one. Yes, it can be done. Oops, I want to go back for a sec. Oh, I want to show you this. Just kidding. Sorry. There we go. So this is one of our typical bathrooms that people opt for. So this is a tub. It has the fiberglass walls. The thing that I really like about that tub insert is you're not dealing with grout. So this is what we actually mentioned to our gal with her Sears disease is grout. I mean, grout, whether it's in a tiny home or not in a tiny home, it has to be resealed. It's higher maintenance. It's very porous. So we wanted a surface that was very, very easy for her to clean and super kid friendly. So this is one of our options. This is another one. This is our luxury bathroom right here. It has a bay out front. I'm going to show you that in a minute. It has the tiled walls and all the beautiful stuff here. And then we had 2 custom clients that were last year's build who wanted the freestanding tub too. So more construction solutions that need to be found when we go with a freestanding tub, but these are some really great options of how you can incorporate a bathtub. So I want to point out something here when I was talking about the bayed bathroom. So something that we do is we actually allow our clients, well, we have a system set up that you can choose which bathroom is going to work best for you. So here is the bayed front bathroom. This is a tub. If you're looking at more of budgetary constraints or something like that, then this is a square front where it has the bathroom anyway, a little bit smaller, but still really great. And this is the one I just showed you with the fiberglass surround. And this is actually a standard option here. And it has a lot of storage on the side. I personally like this because yes, I like showers too. Exactly. A big walk-in shower. And I mean, this is a little walk-in shower, and then we have storage on the side. So building with teacup here, you do have these choices. But yeah, it is something. A lot of people love their bathtubs. Absolutely. So the other thing is a composting toilet. I didn't know if I should talk directly about the compost toilet or if I should just talk about a toilet, period. So one of the things that we talk to our potential clients about when we get on the phone or on a discovery call, or we're even talking through Messenger or texting, is we start asking questions about toilets. Because one way for us to know how ready you really are to actually go tiny is to know what kind of toilet you need or what kind of toilet you want, or even that you've thought about what kind of toilet you need. So the conversation can either be like, what kind of toilet do you need? Oh, what do you mean? I get to decide what toilet I need? So that is an indication that we're not ready to go tiny yet because we haven't probably done all the research. I think tiny home toilets is probably one of the most or biggest topics on the internet, I swear. Like, who out here knows what kind of toilet they want if you are going to go tiny? And tell me what kind it is. So I'm going to show you those pictures. Type your answers in the chat there. This here is the Cinderella incinerating toilet, a composting toilet. Okay. So the compost toilet I have two pictures of right here. So this one is the separate 9210. This is the Villa 9210. And this one is also up here. This is a standard residential flush toilet, separate 9210. Awesome. Good. Composting or incinerating Nature's Head. Okay. Very good. Flush toilet, flush, camping style. Okay, awesome. So this incinerating toilet, this was actually the first one that we did. And I haven't actually talked to our clients since then if they're loving it or not. So I have to do that. But we all know the Cinderella has rave reviews. The price point is a little bit higher. So that's why people will sometimes opt out. So that's something to consider. A flush obviously uses a lot more water and you're dealing with a lot more wastewater. You're dealing with a lot more waste just being flushed into somewhere. So you have to have that septic or be tied into sewer in order to really deal with that. The Cinderella toilet was really easy to install, actually. It was really, really great. So and then with the separate 9210, we have used this toilet probably the most for our clients. When we use it, we tie the gray water line in, or we tie the urine line into the gray water line. So this is different than the Nature's Head. I saw Nature's Head talked about. Now the Nature's Head has like a urine bucket basically that you have to empty. And anyone who's had a Nature's Head, they're like, it's not pretty. So that's why we go with the compost toilet. This isn't, or the separate, sorry. This is one of the reasons I think for me is knowing how people's experiences is after they're actually living in their tiny home is very important. And we stay in touch with our clients long after they're done their build, because it's important for us to know if they're enjoying their flush toilet, if they're enjoying their incinerating toilet, or if they're enjoying their separate, right? So then we can use this information and make lists like this for you guys, or even advise properly to our future clients about what they should do or what they shouldn't do. So I know a lot of our clients, they really, really do like the separate, and it's a really nice option from the incinerator if they need something that's more off-grid. Okay, so compost toilet. There we go. The other thing is in-floor heat. Now, there are a lot of different ways to do in-floor heat, and we include in-floor heat as standard. This is also going to be something that might be a little bit different if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, or if you are in Alaska, right? So in-floor heat, we do a forced air in-floor heat system, which basically means we use an RV furnace and we push the hot air through the chassis of the floor. In the wintertime, if you don't have heat running through the floor, it's going to be freezing cold. It is going to be incredibly cold on your feet. And if you have talked to any tiny homeowners that do not have, I love the emojis, thank you guys. If they don't have in-floor heat, they are not that happy with their feet in the winter. Not that they're not happy with their home, but it's cold. People have had to buy mats. People have had to buy lots of rugs because you actually cannot stand on your floor in winter when it's that cold if you don't have in-floor heat. So the beautiful thing about how we run our system is we make sure that it actually heats the chassis of the trailer. So that's going to help, yes, keep your feet warm, but it's so much more than that. It's going to keep your water lines fluid. It's going to keep everything from freezing up. The way that we strategically place your vents is very important too in making sure that your pipes don't freeze. So these are all the things that we keep into consideration when we do our in-floor heat. You could do like a boiler system and do it that way if you wanted. We just find the price point is really, really high. And then there's obviously way more room for things to get damaged or things to get wrecked. If you ever have an issue with your tiny home freezing or something like that, that system could be extremely damaged and extremely expensive to repair. So that's where you're dealing with air instead of something like glycol. We again want to make sure that your tiny home experience is like top notch when you're living in your tiny home. And so we also want to try and make those systems fairly simple for you, especially to maintain them. And especially if you ever have any issues with them, they're easy to fix. Are the floors insulated? Jane, you bet. We have R35 spray foam insulation in our floors. But again, this is just our system and not every builder does this. So it's important. I think this is why this list is important too, is because it's important for you to know talking points when you talk to different builders, if they're not teacup, just saying. Okay, here we go. In-floor heat. Kitchen storage. I put the pantry here, but there's a lot of different ways that you can include very smart storage systems within your kitchen. So of course you have less cabinets in a lot of builds. Our builds, we have found, we will typically have about 16 linear feet of more cabinetry in our teacup tiny homes than what we've seen in other tiny home builders that are kind of in the same market as us. Interesting, right? So we have these really long banks of great countertop space. We have big storage drawers. You can see the pot and pan drawers here, but one of our claims to fame really is this pull-out pantry. And in the tiny home on a foundation, actually, that we just finished in the shop, that'll be on our Instagram really soon. We have double pantries. So you pull them both out and get all that extra storage. So this is a really great feature, especially for people that do any, farm to table or canning or gardening or anything like that, baking, where you need that extra space. But in general, this is one of the big things that we like to include. Another thing that we like to include that I don't have a picture of is the double garbage and recycling bin. So having a pull-out cabinet where you actually have recycling and garbage in a spot to put it. In one of our tiny homes, we actually cut a round circle in the countertop so that our client could push her compost in, and she had like a mini little compost container at the end of one of her drawers. So that was a really super neat feature too. As far as spice racks go, all of these little things. But on that note, this is where we talk to our clients and make sure that we're working within their budget, because the more custom your kitchen gets, of course, your dollars and cents are going to be increasing as well. And I must say that there are some really great organization things for kitchens and small spaces on Amazon, and we have a teacup Amazon page. I don't know. I'll share it with you guys here at the end. So kitchen organization, especially that pantry, is number 6. Number 7, front entry closet. Okay, here we go. So again, this is going to be different if you don't live in a location where there's 4 seasons. So most of our clients who live in Canada or the northern states, the closet is an absolute must. However, you can see how much space this giant puffy jacket would take up in this closet, but anything is better than nothing. So here's a few different examples. Yeah, the closet is so important. Sometimes we face it this way, sometimes we face it towards the kitchen. This client down here wanted something that was nice and open, somewhere to put her jackets. And then this one faces the kitchen too. So you have a nice shelf up top, you have a hanging rod, and one time I actually put a vent into the closet, thinking that it would be really good to dry out like ski and snowboard clothes and that kind of thing, or dry stuff out from the rain. I haven't used it much because I'm a little worried. I just closed the vent off that it will create too much moisture and condensation inside the closet, but that was a neat idea too. You just never know. So front entry closet, if it's raining or winter or anything, definitely this is one of the most desired things from our teacup clients. And even the ones who have actually not put the closet in, when we ask them 6 months to a year later if there's anything they would change about their tiny home, they would say, I wish I got the closet. So yeah, a vent at the top of the closet. I was thinking about that too. That's a great idea. See, this is why I say these things. Yeah, there has to be a vent so it doesn't get all stuck in there. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. A bath fan. Yeah, a bath fan might work. Bath fan might work. So a few people asking if there's a recording. Yes, there is. No problem at all. You got this. It's you can definitely watch it later and you'll be able to catch all this good stuff. The next thing coming up is the wall bed. You guys know, have you seen this on our Instagram or anything? So the wall bed gets so much attention. This is an example of, yes, a Murphy bed, a wall bed. This was custom made by a company with a very creative name out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And the company is just called Wall Beds. That's what they're called. They're called wall beds. And what we've done here is we have storage up top. This bed pulls out into a queen size bed, but you can also see it has a desk underneath. We recently posted this video on Facebook and Instagram of it opening and closing, and it's at some ridiculous amount, like, I don't know, maybe 300,000 views and counting or something. I don't know. Is that a lot? I don't even know. Maybe 1 million here or there. But anyway, if you want to see it, it is on our social media, so you can see this actually opening and closing. And the reason why this is so functional is because you can have a nice queen size bed, and then it can fold up, and you can have a nice space right here, a space if you need to do yoga or exercise, or if you need an office or something like that. So this is something too that we have a lot of clients asking about. And again, they get to decide when they're working with us if it fits into their budget, if it's something that they could do later, or, you know, how important it is on that list for them. Wall bed. Okay. Here's number 9. I changed this at the last second. So we get asked about a wood burning stove or a wood burning fireplace all the time. And we have installed quite a few. I don't know a single tiny home owner who has had the wood burning fireplace and has regretted it. They are pricey for sure. And there is a very, 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 very small selection out there as to what could actually be put in a tiny home on wheels. And that's because it has to be certified for the use. It has to be certified for being able to move. And the biggest thing about the fireplaces is that it needs to have a locking door. The reason is that if you have a fire in there and there's hot ashes, you need to lock the door before it goes mobile, before you start moving around, so that the door doesn't fly open and ashes don't fly out and burn everything down. Now, our RVIA certification does not allow us to put wood burning stoves in our RVIA certified tiny home RVs. In Canada, however, we can put them in. But if you guys have you guys seen that little cubic mini, I think? It's like the Grizzly or something like that. It's a very, very small fireplace. Ideally, I think that really is the best one. These fireplaces that we have here shown, they're totally overkill for a small space. You will be sweating and very hot. However, our clients still love them. We just can't install those little ones because they aren't a certified unit. Yeah, exactly. Little pieces of wood, Charlene. Yep. It's not a certified unit. So to make sure that we comply with all of our certifications, we're not allowed to install them. So what we suggest to our clients is let's create a space where you may or may not install one in the future once you have it. And if that's something you want to do at that point in time, then you can do that there. And we help plan for it, even if they want something smaller than this. So wood burning stove is number 9. And drum roll, please, number 10. I never thought of putting a wall bed in. There you go. That's awesome, Elise. Okay. Let's see, number 10. Here we go. Drum roll. Yes, there we go. And the most requested question or thing is, what is your biggest tiny home you have? I know, it's so kind of ironic, isn't it? What's the biggest tiny home we have? Well, how about a rocket mass heater? You know what? I don't know what a rocket mass heater is. So can you tell me more? I would love to know more. We haven't used that. people typically, when they come to us, our average build, the builds that we do the most are either 30-foot long or 34 feet long in our tiny homes on wheels. Those are one of the most sought after plans, I would say. However, we do have ones that are much larger. We very rarely build our 26-foot long, and one of the biggest reasons I feel is that it's almost like you get more bang for your buck. Your price per square foot goes up goes down. Your price per square foot goes down the bigger you get. And one of the biggest things that our clients have said, again, 6 months to a year after they've had their tiny home, if they have chosen a smaller length than what they originally wanted, is they wish they went bigger. So part of customizing and part of making sure that we really, really have these important conversations with our clients in the design phases is so that we can maybe say, let's not go with the custom kitchen, knowing that you can add on to it later. Let's maybe leave out the closet and let's maybe go 2 feet longer instead so that you have that space. Because again, at the end of all of it, you can't just add an extra 2 feet onto your tiny home on wheels. You just can't add an addition, right? So it's better to start off with that larger box than it is to start small and then put all your customizations into it. Another really important thing to talk about with the customization side is we often tell people, let's leave space for you to expand. Let's leave space for you to grow. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how clients have grown into their homes with some of these features, loved them, not loved them, and how it's been for them 6 months to a year down the road. But first, you want to hear about the windows. Okay. This says, I love the Murphy bed in your Florence model. Ran, I love that. However, we don't have a Murphy bed in our Florence model. So I wonder, I think I know what you're talking about, where there's cabinets on the side and up top. And that's actually just built-in storage, and that queen size bed just stays down all the time. These windows, these windows are great. They're amazing. This is actually a park model. So this is 10.5 feet wide. This is my little daughter here, the one that we found out I was expecting right when I started a company. Don't do that. So yeah, these are black windows. They are an upgraded option that our client wanted, and they are absolutely beautiful. All right, next, here we go. So where our clients have gone wrong. Okay. This picture right here, there have been a few things that we've built that have been quite pricey to our clients, very custom. And then even through many conversations, they just have realized that, maybe it wasn't the right decision to make because it wasn't that functional. So some of the coolest things that you see on shows and let's see, which is that bed? That elevator bed, you know what I'm talking about there? The one that's on hydraulics and it lifts up. To me, that is it's a really cool feature, but it's not that functional. But that's just depends on how I use my space. So as we're talking about certain things with our clients, this here was a movable wall. And our client wanted a wall that would move back and forth so she could make her living room bigger. And then there was a little pocket office behind this wall. The problem is that this client was expecting. Once she had her baby and she had fully moved into the tiny home, she just realized that there was really no point in having the wall there at all and ended up taking it right out and getting rid of it. But this movable wall, although she was quite adamant about having it, it did cost a lot of money for her, and then she ended up not using it. Another thing is, again, going with the functionality, this is actually our serendipity plan. And if you guys know Adelina, you would know the serendipity for sure. This was a park model gooseneck that we built 4 years ago now, but Adelina really, really wanted that bathtub. The problem is that they didn't make a bathtub in that size. We really would have liked to put in a shower for her, but she wanted the bathtub, and we went with this bathtub here, and it worked really, really great for her for about 4 years. I believe she's been in there. However, this is an RV bathtub, and with any of those materials that come from the RV industry, they're very lightweight, and they typically aren't as durable as what you find in typical home construction. So there have been a few issues with this bathtub, and she's actually taking it out and putting a shower in right now. So depending on spaces, what we have found is some of the things that our clients are the most adamant about having and will pay a higher amount to install often end up being the things that do not work that well for them in the long term. It's very, very interesting how that works. So my advice to anyone going tiny with these types of things is just really think it through and think about how your circumstances can change. And is this thing I'm doing adaptable? And, is this something I should invest in now? Or should I add the 2 feet and invest in this other thing later when I have a little bit more cash flow after the build is done? Like it says over here, sometimes our clients get fixated on having something that is in reality not functional. Custom home builds, I also believe, are not always better for the reason that there's more opportunities for these things that sound really great to work, but then they don't actually work in the tiny home the way it needs to be built for safety and functionality and longevity. So, and some of the highest cost items can be some of the least functional. But again, this is all stuff that we work with you. We have conversations with you about, and hey, nothing is ever permanent. Like I said, Adelina's taking her tub out right now and putting in her own shower. So yeah, it's all the little details like that. There's always flexibility in whatever you do. Okay, so we have a conversation. Have you had requests for a wide, low, tiny one wheels like 10 feet? Yeah, we actually build 10 feet wide quite often. They are considered park models. And yes, we do. So that's nice. Actually, the one with the beautiful windows is a park model also. Every time I click, it makes my screen wobble. Sorry, guys. Hope I'm not making any motion sickness there. Motion sick? Motion sick. Okay, let's see.
Certain things.
You guys, I want to share this video with you. And this is our client, Rihanna, and she lives on Vancouver Island. This is her tiny home, and this is her 5-year-old daughter here enjoying her little breakfast, looking out the window. She has a wall bed right here, and this was a very big point of conversation while she was building. If you can turn up the volume here, whoops, do so, and you'll be able to hear Rihanna
Certain things
what she has to say. We've also featured Rihanna on our Instagram, and if you have a look there, you can hear more about her story because she shares it really great. This is also Rihanna's Instagram handle right here. If you have an opportunity, head over there and follow. So it's 100% audible. Okay, cool. So I hope you can hear it, like I said, and it's about a minute long. Here we go.
That you have always done, like ways of putting things in certain places or routines, do need to kind of adjust, and you just kind of need to go with it. I would say, yeah, that's a big one. When I first got the house and when I was designing it, I was working from home, and so had made the decision that it was really important for me to have a Murphy bed with the desk on the back so that I had a workspace that could stay a workspace even when I pulled down the bed. But during the course of the build, I ended up getting another job, and now I work in an office. So, I've given myself sort of 6 months to settle into the house and see how we live in it, and the Murphy bed with the desk isn't working, which, I think I wanted to feel frustrated about. Spent a lot of money on building it. It's a beautiful bed, but it's just not working. And I think that, you kind of have to listen to that when that happens. So I'm planning to sell the bed and get something that works a bit better, which now I'm realizing since being in here is a bed that lifts up with storage underneath. A place to put our winter clothes and a vacuum and things like that. So I think just being adaptable and being flexible are really big parts of it.
Awesome. Okay, did you guys hear that? Give me thumbs up if you heard Rihanna. Adaptable and flexible are two very important things. Okay, good. I shared it a little bit differently from our test, so hopefully that worked. It was fine. Barb, thank you. Okay, you guys, some questions up here. It's question and answer time. I see raised hands. Just give me one moment. I just want to answer these ones in the chat quick. Are park models a subsection of the RV designation? Yes, they are. And so, Trista, they are a subsection of the RV code. Now, one of the things is if people are wanting to go wider, what we're actually finding right now, it makes a little bit more sense to just go a tiny home installed on a foundation, especially if you're not moving it. That unit can still be lifted up and craned, especially if you do a system more like screw piles or something like that. So I do predict that we will be moving towards that type of tiny home a little bit more in the future. Any thoughts regarding the built-in mini dishwasher in the sink by Fotile? While you guys were watching that video, I Googled what this was because I haven't actually seen it before. It looks like it would be expensive, and I don't know how functional it would really be. Our clients often do the apartment-sized dishwashers. So they're 18 inches wide, and they go in pretty much where a bank of drawers might go. And to me, the dishwasher, and to our clients, the conversation that we have is more like it's somewhere where you could put your dirty dishes, right? You can kind of hide them so that they're all not right there on your countertop and in your sink. So that might be a really cool solution. I just haven't heard yet. Rooftop decks. We do get a lot of conversations about rooftop decks. So the conversation, I guess it really all depends, right? Where we are, we get a lot of snow. So to have a rooftop deck, you would be really worried about the snow load. And because a lot of our clientele is in Ontario and in BC, in the Rocky Mountains, I won't build a rooftop deck for anyone in those areas because of the snow load, water damage, and issues that could arise there. So that is my standpoint on that. And we have not built one because pitched roofs are more important in our typical places that we build. Double entry and exit. Yes. So actually in this picture right here, you can see there's an exit. We have more windows in our tiny homes than we did in the standard size homes that I built at Avonlea, the home builder that I was at for 13 years. So all of our windows in our bedrooms are egress, which means they are exits. We only need to have one additional exit in the tiny home RV with that code, but you can get out any of the windows. If you have a door that you're using a door as an exit, the biggest thing to consider there is that you will need actually floor walking space to get out the door. So it's easier to do a window because you can put a sofa in front of the window and you can still get out. But if you have a door, you can't be blocking that door. So it takes up a lot of floor space. It takes up invisible floor space, and it takes up a lot of wall space too. So we don't usually do them, although we have done, I think, 2 or 3 in the past. Yes, you could all hear me. Perfect. What about the insulation? What is the best R value? Yeah, and this is something too. This was the thing that I was thinking about. We typically do spray foam insulation. We use 2x4 wall framing, and that gives you about an R24 in your walls, R35 in the ceiling, because we do 6-inch rafters or truss system there. And then we put 6 inches of foam in the floor chassis with an R35. So you definitely want to be talking to builders about that, because some people still use spray foam insulation, but they'll only use maybe 2 inches of spray foam, and that would only give you R14. You can do 6-inch walls and do batt insulation and get a very good insulation value. All it's doing really is taking away 4 extra inches of interior space. So that's kind of that trade-off. Spray foam I like because it really helps the rigidity of the building. It increases rigidity by 300%. So that really helps if you are traveling a lot, but even if you're in a windy area and everything, it just really helps like glue everything together. What kind of things do people realize afterwards that they need to find storage for? Musical instruments, vacuums, and whatnot. So again, with us, when we work with our clients, we kind of go through that list with them. There's kind of a worksheet that you do to figure out what things you need space for, and then we decide where they're going. So a lot of the time, people are already thinking about all this stuff before they move into their tiny home. And this is also a really great reason why I always say to our clients, let's not fill up every space on the wall with hooks or shelves or anything, because you don't know how you're actually going to live when you move in. If you could be like Rihanna, where your situation totally changes. You go from working at home to working in the office, and pretty soon you have a beautiful, expensive desk that no longer suits your situation. So I always say leave space for flexibility. And yeah, that's really important. For foundations, do we have collaborations with permitting professionals and municipalities? So with my home building background in those 13 years I was at the home builder I was at, we also did land development. So the permitting process in the municipalities for me and for the people that we have working here at Teacup is actually extremely easy. We do coach you through it. However, if whoever owns the land has to be going through those permits, and then we help you with certain things that you have to look for in the bylaws and that kind of thing. So we'll help you with that whole thing. I actually do believe that tiny homes on foundations are quite a bit easier. Maybe it's a little bit more work because you do have to deal with the municipality, but it's more of a typical practice that is done quite often. So yes, we can help you with that. Rainfall shower heads, it all depends. If there's a loft above, you don't have enough space for a rain head shower head, right? But our standard shower heads are quite big anyway. Operable skylights in lofts, we've done those too. And again, that's that snow load part. We can do them, but we give you the pros and cons, because if your skylight's going to be covered in snow for 8 months out of the year because you live in Canada and in the Rocky Mountains, then probably not an option. If you live somewhere drier where there is less rain and you're not going to have that snow on your roof and you don't need to be able to shed all the water and that kind of thing, then yes, maybe it's more of an option for you. Nautical macerator 12-volt toilet. I have not. I've heard of it, but I don't know of it well, and I have not used it. Packable decks. I don't feel like if you're moving all the time, that might be something that's important, but it would be very costly again. And when people have said they wanted it, it doesn't really ever happen. I think I would say, let's see, 80% of the people, no, even more than that, actually, I would say 100% of the people who have said that they are going to travel with their tiny home once they get it, they never do. So that would just kind of become an expensive extra, right? So we talk about those things too. We are located in Lethbridge, Alberta. Have a look at our website and you'll see a lot more. Have we ever installed Japanese soaker tub with a shower? We have not, although we've had a few people want them and it came down to budget. She's in Calgary. I'm in Lethbridge, actually. Even smaller and even further south. What are your exterior walls wrapped with? You mean the outside? So this depends on where our tiny home is going. We do a building paper, and then we either install a rain screen or not. And then we work with our clients to decide what exterior cladding they want. So like I say, everything in a Teacup tiny home, our clients get to decide what's going to work best for them. A lot of our clients actually go with vinyl siding, the board and batten, the vertical striped board and batten vinyl. That's the majority of what our clients choose because it is a great price point. It's also lightweight, which is an important thing to consider. And it is extremely low maintenance. So yeah, that is a big one for us. Considerations on flush versus compost toilet as far as practicality and ease. Flush is way easier. Way easier. If you have the tie-in and you have septic and you are able to do that, I would highly recommend you go flush all day long. Unless you're really worried about water conservation, I'm sorry. Flush for ease and care is definitely way easier. Water conservation, not so much. I've seen a few tiny home builders that don't vent out stovetop. I know, I've seen that too. Some vent within the space, not good. It seems necessary to vent to the outside. I have seen these builds too. I will never build a tiny home without that hood fan vent. In fact, we had a client who used a rice cooker and was not turning on their hood fan while they were using it. And they had excess condensation buildup. We asked them, we troubleshot with them to figure out what was going on. And since they have turned on their hood fan when they use their rice cooker, their condensation has gone down. I don't know how builders are getting around not having the vent. It needs to be exterior vented for your own safety, especially if there's a gas cooktop, but also for the longevity of the inside and your condensation buildup. That is an awesome question, and thank you. I'm obviously very passionate about it. Okay, fireproofing methods. Fireproofing methods, well, I mean, we have to have a certain burn rating on the inside, so it has to take a certain amount of time with the wall paneling that we put on, we do that. Spray foam insulation is more susceptible to fire, so is vinyl siding. But really, if there's going to be an issue, I mean, I guess we use steel roofs too, so that's really about as far as we go. We use our smoke alarms and that kind of thing too. So I think Stefan, talking about the infrastructure, we have a lot of information on our website about that. So I'm going to have you guys look there as far as that goes. That is the homeowner responsibility, but we also help them with that. Thanks, Barb. Retractable awning, that is something that could easily be added on after, but we'll often leave space above the door and windows so that people could add like a pergola or something like that. What do you suggest for clients that want an off-grid water system? I would suggest doing a watershed. The puppy just came into the office. That's why I'm a little distracted. He's like, Mom, what's going on? I would suggest that you do a watershed, and you can get really big, like kind of holding tanks. And depending again, if it's in a spot that freezes or not, then you'll want to make sure that you'll be able to heat it. How many have you built for sleeping in a tiny house? So we have our Ellie plan, which has 3 different sleeping areas, and it could sleep, I would say, like up to 6, and you could have 7 on the sofa if you really wanted to. Did I get to the bottom of the questions, you guys? I think I did. Okay, that was very fast and awesome and good. So I'm going to, so a few people raised their hands. What does this say? Q&A. Rainfall shower heads. Okay, I gave you a live answer there. Thank you, guys. Do you have any tips for how a high school student can fund a tiny house build? A great question too. I would say you need to have good credit so you can borrow money in the future. Build your credit up. That is the biggest mistake we see people making, is they have bad credit or don't have any credit history at all. It's hard to find a place in land for a tiny home in San Diego, USA. I'm not sure about San Diego itself. Sorry, guys. Okay, last thing. If there's anyone else, please put it in the comments section. We're going to wrap up here. This is the final note. Because you were all here today, and if you are ready to move forward with your tiny home build and you've been talking to the team, we actually have a free delivery anywhere in Canada or the US, which is actually huge. And it was ending today, but I have extended it for you guys. So if you're talking to our sales team and you said that and if you want to build and you want to move forward, then make sure that you mention that you are here, and we will offer you that promo. It will be good until September 30th. All you need to do is sign up to build, which starts with a $5,000 fee to get you into the kiosk. So, yes, thank you all so much. If you want to know more, you can visit us at send us an email, sales@teacuptinyhomes.com. Please visit our website. There's so much information about everything that I've talked about. Foundation series. Our website is, it's very informative. And if you're not following us on the socials, we are definitely the most active on Instagram, which is just Teacup Tiny Homes, and you can follow us there. Okay. Here we go. Thank you guys so much. I am going to end it there. And I love this. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to see you all again, hopefully at the end of the month for the conference.
Yeah, Jen, thank you so much for taking it away today, man. That was like super info packed, and like actually, I think that really helps people hone in their ideas of what they should and shouldn't be looking for inside their tiny home. And then it was really cool that you did the kind of like the use cases and like kind of the live examples of like what people have to say after the fact of living in their tiny home and so on. So definitely impactful there, and I'm sure a lot of people are able to actually like make a much better informed decision when they're going tiny. So really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. That's good.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And like Jen mentioned, she's going to be speaking at the upcoming Global Tiny House Conference, and that is, I believe, let's see, what day? You're speaking on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which goes
Thank
around
you.
everywhere. But she's going to be talking about from dream to reality. So she's going to be kind of taking, I'm sure, some of these applications and things, topics that she was talking about today, and applying it to actually bringing your dream to reality. So yeah, that's going to be happening on the 29th. And I can drop a link if you guys are looking to sign up for that. You can jump on that link there and make sure that you're registered, signed up for the event, and so on. And yeah, let's see, Jen, that's pretty much all from me on my end, but super appreciate your time on here and jumping in and just educating people. And like Jen mentioned over here, that's huge. Delivery can be thousands and thousands of dollars. So, and I'm sure especially going across the border like that, it adds up even more. So free delivery, that literally means it doesn't matter how far away you are from Jen. And most of the time, like even people who are in the same city with their tiny house builder, majority of everything happens online anyways, and they might see their build like just a very few times. So location in tiny house building really actually has almost zero implication. So besides the shipping, but Jen's taking care of you there. So yeah, awesome. Well, yeah. I think that's pretty much everything that I have to dial in and whatnot. But yeah, super appreciate your time, Jen.
Thank you. This was so much fun, you guys. I hope to see so many of you at the conference. And yes, it is online. So take advantage of the free delivery. We're breaking down the barriers. If you want a teacup, this is your opportunity to do so.
That's right. That's right. Make sure to take advantage of it. And also, we'll send out this recording to everybody, so you guys will have it. It might take a couple days or whatever, just so we can make sure that it's dialed in and nice and neat. But you'll get access to this recording for sure. So. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you everybody who is joining us here today. It's such a awesome blast and super interactive, which we really appreciate. And our lovely speaker Jen also does too. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. And we will we'll be in touch, and yeah, we'll send out this recording. And Jen, thank you so much for all your time and effort putting into this presentation and just actually having really solid, impactful information for everybody.
That's great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye, everybody. Take care.